YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. Today is Monday, and so we're going to be taking some time on the channel to look at some arcade content. Weekly, we're trying to produce content about the arcade genre, something I love near and dear, and I'm a new student to the hobby of it all. So today's video is going to be part one of a part two segment. We're going to be looking at the Taito platform. This is going to put me in a position where going forward I can get ready for owning a Vewlix, right? That's content that's going to be coming down the road. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the Chewlix this year or next year because the one that I want is a pretty expensive model. However, I want to get the X4 platform upgraded and put into the best hardware that I can get into it, essentially. And I also want to kind of take you down the rabbit hole of the research that I had to do to get these things done and what my expectations are. So I am going to have timestamps in the description of this video. I appreciate anybody that wants to support the channel with the thanks button or giving me watch time. But if you guys just kind of want to zip to a specific segment within this video, hey, I'm not going to be mad at you. We're going to get this going right after this intro. Right, guys, so as I said, timestamps down below. So this one right here is going to be carded as an overview of the Chewlix. Now, the significance of this machine for this specific video is because I'm going to use the Taito as a testing ground with this piece of hardware. My system, the Chewlix right here, has been completely modified by way of controls, the wiring harness for the controls. We've added some artwork, did new speakers, did a new amplifying system. We added the marquee, that equipment to the top. We have a sound deck on top of it. We also have a stream deck on it. These are all things just to modernize the system. We also have a 4K BenQ monitor, which does feature a remote. So it makes it so that, you know, I don't have to go behind the system and configure with the settings. I can use a remote and I can do that. And ultimately, we have a gaming PC inside of there. It's a little dark down there for me to be able to capture that, but just wanted to give you an overview. I did gut the power supply, and what I have running inside of the machine is just a surge protector, power strip, if you will. And that's just going right to the outlet directly. So it just keeps things really clean for me, right? Really, really clean. So if you get yourself a Chewlix, definitely go into it with the intentions of you modifying it, make it your own, make it colorful, make it have some personality, some character, and definitely make it have some uniformity to your preferences, your lifestyle. This is going to help me tremendously getting the Taito going, because the plans for the Taito, as I've said already, are going to be for me to get an official Vewlix, which is going to be more pricey and, you know, more for the collector's piece, if you will. That said, this is the piece of hardware that's inside of my Chewlix. As you can see, it has an orange accent there. You know, all of this was very meticulously put together, and I would encourage and invite you guys to check out the content, not for any monetization reasons, but just in case you just want to see how I started and how I got to the point of, you know, getting this hardware and making the selections. So I'm actually going to be taking this piece of equipment out of the Chewlix. Obviously, it's already out, and I'm going to borrow it in another part of the house. All right, I want to give you guys a brief look at this thing for anybody that's not familiar with the stream of content that's been created. So got the PC in there. It's wired to this controller directly. Normally, I'll have that hub that's on top of my center channel there. Got the PC set so it turns in, turns on. Not turns in, turns on, no password needed. So we've got a stable connection here. Again, controller's gonna act as my arcade stick. Computer's on, comes on in a couple seconds. This is all based on, obviously, the type of hard drive and such that you use, whatever code you put in for, you know, your computer to go to whatever. Big box is gonna come on in a couple of seconds. There we go. And then from there, we've got our attraction mode. So I have mine set default for
the heroes of Destiny 2.
Fighting games. It will, so Ultra Street Fighter, whatever titles I have. And you know, this is just set to be simplistic for me on the Chewlix. I do also have this set so that if I want to play some single player games, you know, I can do that too. I only have 2 games loaded on here because this particular system is used for my arcade cabinet, so I have no need to play these types of games. But I do have some content I'm getting ready to film around this piece, and it's going to be talking about, like, you know, PC versus console, that type of stuff. So that's why I have these games on here. In any event, this is the attraction that you do get. Within this attraction, it's going to be very similar to what you get from using the multi with the Taito platform. This is why, again, this is considered to be more modernized. So the encouragement is there. So now I want to kind of take you guys down the rabbit hole I'm about to venture into with the Taito Type X. All right, guys, so in comes the Taito machine. I have a 3 and an X platform. I've actually made content on the channel back in 2022 when I got my hands on the 3. I immediately just said, you know what, I loved what it did, and I was just really impressed by the fact that it was pretty much a PC. You know, it doesn't look like your traditional arcade piece of hardware, which when you really think about it, all consoles, all arcades are pretty much like PCs. They've all got processors, they've got some type of graphics, they've got some type of system storage, they've got some type of system memory. Those are generally your components that, you know, make up a console or any type of machinery for gaming. And so they're all really like PCs, to be honest with you. But this particular platform, I mean, truly is, right? Like in my house right now, I've got some older equipment. I've got an old PC in my possession that has a 4th generation, yes, 4th generation Intel i7 4790K to be specific, with some DDR3 RAM. It's just radical that, you know, inside of this computer that I've got sitting in my own personal storage is what I'm going to be using to actually update my Taito 4. So I got my hands on the 3 platform by one of my better friends. He got it to me. He was like, hey man, you know, hold on to that as long as you need to, make some content, play around with it, check it out. I actually got it when I got the Chewlix. They came together. And so I was just like, man, this is really impressive. And then once I started doing some research, I seen that there was a Taito X4. So I'm like, you know, being me, I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to have the newest one. So I went ahead and ordered the 4, got it, and I hadn't done much with it, but I knew that I really wanted to cut on it because the 4 that I currently have has a 4th generation i5, which here we are. We're talking about me meshing this i7 that I've got in the old PC that I'm not using into it. And it's got a GTX Founders Edition 960, which is a cool piece of technology to have in my graphics card collection. But I do have a 1070 and a 1080, but I'm going to use the 1070 to put into this machine. So, you know, it should be plug and play. I'm going to learn a little bit though, because from what I'm reading and researching, you have to do something called flash the graphics card. I'm not sure exactly how this process works. And I'm really wanting to put this content out here on YouTube for anybody that might be interested in doing something like this. Okay, so before I deep dive into just showing you the insides of these Taito platforms, this is what's gonna go inside of it. I'm pretty much going to gut 2 sticks of RAM, and I'll show you the Type 4. The X4 that I have only has 2 slots. It doesn't have 4, but this is DDR3 at 1600 megahertz. So it's gonna give me 16 gigs of RAM. It's an 8 each stick. This Corsair cooler, I'm not gonna be using that, of course, but behind there we do have that 4790K i7 processor. That's all I need to take out of this. We'll also be doing this NVIDIA graphics card. This is a GTX 1070. Yes, 1070. So blower style, very similar to what's inside. There's a 960. Yep. There's a theory I have to test also, just to make sure this functions, which will lead into the second part of this video. This card does have some illumination by way of here, and I think that 2 of the connectors here are for that. All right, so I kind of gave you guys some B-roll about this, and now I want to just kind of show you the insides. So first, you lift this guy up, and this is where your drive is going to be. You can go ahead and take that off for me. All right. The inside look. This is the X3. Actually has an MSI GPU inside of it. Twin force, so 2 fan. You can see the 6 port here. So connector goes right there for power for the GPU. And such is the same exactly for the X4. This thing is in there beautifully. Right. Got the X4 off. So founder's card is inside. I actually really like the look of this thing. It looks really clean. Black, but you got the six pin right there. There's no illumination here for this GPU, nor is there for that one either. Which, again, prior transition, I was saying this is an 8 pin. There's some illumination here. So this does light up green. So thinking the last 2 pins are for that because the 6 pin goes in there. If that theory is true, and I'll test that on the next video, then that means that I don't need to worry about doing like a different power supply or anything like that. So you can take a look and see the motherboard has the 2 DRAM slots. So I'll get those 2 there that I showed you. You've got a Cooler Master cooler here. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do a Noctua low profile there, as well as this fan here. Kind of get it swapped out too. Clean this thing up overall, right? It's a new CPU cooler, new exhaust cooler, a fan, and new GPU, new RAM, like new CPU also. Those will pretty much be the run-of-the-mill upgrades that I'm looking to do. Now, I have ran the drive that I have for the X3 on the 4 and it works. But again, since getting this, I have learned about the newer drive, the 4.1, and I am not looking to make content specifically on that. I don't know the legal side of things on YouTube, so I don't want to catch any red flags being a newer content creator earlier in my career here. With that type of stuff. But yes, I'm going to be getting that drive there, and I will be doing a tutorial of some kind with that. So the next video we can expect to see some upgrades. I need to get a couple of things ordered. I need to get some testing done off camera just so that I can have my talking points in order on these things that we discussed. And so going forward, you can expect that. I am really excited to bring you guys this content, and I want to know what you think about it. If you are seeing this and you have done any upgrades like this, please, engagement is important to me, so you can chime in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you see within your findings. Certainly humble and grateful to be a part of this. Again, if you guys are not, if you see this on YouTube and you're interested in following like the Facebook community, man, listen, the Chewlix Vewlix community is amazing. It's a great group of men and women that do share some, helpful tips. But that's all I got for this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace, God bless, and as I always say, max love.